Hello, you're watching News Mongolia on MNB World, and I'm your host, Jargalma Tushinjargal. On the News Mongolia today, Mongolia's Air Force is celebrating its 100th anniversary this year. High-level Indian government delegation visits to see the progress of Mongol refinery. Mongolia ranks first in the world for deaths caused by high blood pressure. For the news, stay tuned. This year marks the 100th anniversary of the establishment of the Mongolian Air Force. As the country looks ahead to the future of aviation and defense, military experts emphasize the importance of remembering how it all began. They note that the development of Mongolia's Air Force has been deeply connected to the broader evolution of its military and national defense. The Mongolian Air Force traces its founding back to May 25, 1925, when a team led by Soviet pilot Alexei Alexandrovich Lapek landed a U-13 aircraft in Ulaanbaatar, marking the beginning of aviation development in the country. This milestone was preceded by foundational efforts in late 1923, including the selection of airfields in Ulaanbaatar, Altınboluq, and Ulan-Ude. By 1924, a nationwide campaign was underway to raise funds for acquiring aircraft, laying the groundwork for Mongolia's aviation sector.
From 1925 to 1956, Mongolia's earliest aircraft were used primarily for military purposes. Starting in 1956, regular civil aviation flight began. The 1980s and 1990s marked a particularly significant phase in development of Mongolia's Air Force.
At the end of 1933, the first squadron of the 2nd Combat School of the Mongolian People's Army was established, carrying out postal transport missions with U-2 and R-5 aircraft. The unit also played a significant role in intercepting and repelling border intruders. The Mongolian Air Force participated in the 1939 Battle of Khalkhol and at the end of World War II in 1945. In 1948 and 1949, during the suppression of Osman's uprising in western provinces, Mongolia's Air Force operated independently.
In the 1949, the People's Republic of China was established. Since Mongolia was positioned between two major socialist powers, the government decided to downsize the military, considering the armors less critical. Some units were disbanded, and others remained operational. The transport detachment was relocated to Boyuntukha and renamed Miat Mongolian Airlines. The light aircraft section was assigned to the 109th Unit, also stationed at Boyuntukha. Until the late 1970s, military and civil aviation supported and closely complemented each other.
In 1945, the 5th Mixed Aviation Regiment was officially established with 355 staff and a fleet of 72 combat and training aircraft. While fulfilling its primary defense mission, the regiment also carried out civilian duties such as mail delivery, emergency medical response, the transportation of high-ranking officials, disaster response, and promoting the development of air sports. A high-level delegation from the government of India, led by Shri Anurag Agarwal, a special secretary and financial advisor of the Ministry of External Affairs, visited Mongolia from May 12th to 15th. The delegation included senior officials from India's Ministries of External Affairs, Finance, and Petroleum and Natural Gas, as well as top executives from Engineers India Limited and the Export-Import Bank of India. The purpose of the visit was to review the progress of the Mongol refinery project in Dornogov province. Founded through India's largest ever soft line of credit, valued at $1.7 billion, the project symbolized a strong India-Mongolia cooperation and friendship. On May 14th, the delegation toured the construction site and held detailed discussions with Mongol Refineries Executive Director Dr. Altıntsık, construction company leaders, and Engineers India Limited representatives. They emphasized the need to complete the project well before the end of 2027 and expressed satisfaction with the completion and commissioning of the EPC-1 phase. The delegation also met with Dornogov Governor Batjargal. The following day, the delegation met at the State Palace with Mongolia's Minister of Finance Jahlang and Minister of Industry and Mineral Resources Towang to discuss the project and strengthen bilateral cooperation. Both sides reaffirmed their commitment to the project's timely completion. Additional meetings included discussions with Secretary of the National Security Council Bamjargal and presidential advisors Otbayer and Davadatle, focusing on green energy collaboration and project progress. The Mongolian side thanked India for its support, and the Indian delegation thanked their hosts for the warm hospitality. The Mongol refinery project is a shining example of the close partnership between India and Mongolia. Mongolia ranks first globally in stroke-related deaths, with cardiovascular disease causing 40% of all fatalities. In response, the State Third Central Hospital is expanding its nationwide campaign against hypertension to raise awareness, promote early screening, and encourage healthy living. Cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death in the country, accounting for approximately 40% of all fatalities. According to UN data, Mongolia tops the global list for stroke-related deaths per 100,000 population. A public awareness campaign was launched on World Hypertension Day to promote early screening and encourage a healthy lifestyle. 46% of people with hypertension are unaware of their condition and often face serious consequences, such as strokes and heart attacks. The aim of this campaign is to deliver concise and clear information about the disease and promote small incentives to those participating in the screening. We are reaching people through 5 or 6 different stops on this campaign. As part of our social responsibility, the State Third Central Hospital, with financial support from Hambank, launched the national campaign against hypertension in 2017. Since then, we provided medical services to over 60,000 people across the country. Additionally, more than 3,000 rural doctors have received capacity building training, and over 1,000 Hambank employees have been trained as volunteers. The State Third Central Hospital has led the nationwide campaign against hypertension since 2017, covering 18 provinces. The campaign continues with financial support from the Hambank Foundation, organized in collaboration with the National Center for Public Health and Mongolian National Broadcaster. Thank you for staying with us. Now let's take a look at currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Next, our program will turn our attention to foreign news, partnered with international news agencies. The UK government announced Monday new agreements with the European Union on defense cooperation, food trade, and border checks during the first formal summit since Brexit. Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who met European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and other senior EU officials in London for talks, said the deals will slash red tape, grow the British economy and reset relations with the 27-nation trade bloc since the UK left the EU in 2020.
So that is what today is all about, moving on from stale old debates, looking forward, not backwards, focusing on what we can do together to deliver in the national interest. We are agreeing a new strategic partnership, fit for our times, providing real, tangible benefits on security, irregular migration, energy prices, agri-food, trade and more, bringing down bills, creating jobs and protecting our borders.
This is our first summit since Brexit, and the United Kingdom and the European Union are looking forward, not looking back. We are here to work on the new relationship, not to talk about the past one. The United Kingdom and the European Union are reconnecting with purpose. The security of our citizens, the prosperity of our economies, and the defense of peace in Europe and beyond.
Under the deals, a new UK and EU defence and security partnership will allow the UK to access a EU defence loan programme worth 150 billion euros or 170 billion US dollars.
Indeed, this is a big day because we are now turning the page and opening a new chapter. A new chapter that is so important in these times because we see the rise of geopolitical tensions. But we are like-minded. We share the same values. We know that we work shoulder by shoulder, hand in hand, when it's really coming to crisis and difficult moments.
Other agreements include removing some checks on animal and plant products to ease food trade across borders and a 12-year extension of an agreement allowing EU fishing vessels in UK waters. For the first time in almost 3 months, a few aid trucks have entered Gaza. Israel and the United Nations confirmed this on Monday. 5 trucks carrying baby food and other needed supplies came through the Kerem Shalom crossing. The UN's Tom Fletcher said it's a good step, but still far from enough. Millions of people in Gaza are in urgent need of help. 4 more UN trucks have been approved and could enter Gaza on Tuesday. But Fletcher warned the aid might be stolen because the situation in Gaza is so chaotic. People are running out of food and other basics. During the last ceasefire in March, around 600 aid trucks entered Gaza every day, much more than now.
Tom Fletcher, the emergency relief coordinator, said today in a statement that Israeli authorities have temporarily allowed us to resume resume limited aid delivery into Gaza following 11 weeks of a complete blockade and amid a spike in the military offensive. This is a welcome development that should remain in place. Today, he said 9 of our trucks were clear to enter via the Kerem Shalom crossing, but it is a drop in the ocean of what is urgently needed, and significantly more aid must be allowed into Gaza starting tomorrow morning. Mr. Fletcher said we've been reassured that our work will be facilitated through our existing and proven mechanisms to deliver humanitarian aid to the people of Gaza. He said he is determined that our aid reach those in greatest need and that the risk of theft by Hamas or other armed group be minimized. He urged the Israeli authorities to open at least 2 crossings into Gaza, one in the north and one in the south, and also urged them to simplify and expedite procedures, remove any quotas, and lift access impediments within Gaza, and not to conduct any attacks in areas and times of deliveries, and allow us to cover a whole range of the huge needs of the Palestinian population in Gaza. To reduce looting, he added, there must be a regular flow of aid and humanitarians must be permitted to use multiple routes. Commercial goods should complement the humanitarian response.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he allowed this limited aid after pressure from countries like the US, who said they could not support Israel if people in Gaza were starving. After the trucks entered, the UK, France, and Canada said the aid is still not enough. They warned they might take action against Israel, including possible sanctions, if the military attacks in Gaza and the West Bank continue. Alright, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We will see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Goodbye.